back in the flight simulator using a GAN grid. So inside of your tools, you can customize your tools and bring up this thing called the GAN grid. Now, all the GAN grid really is if you're into drawing trend lines, is saving you a lot of trend line drawing. Plus, you're putting in a fixed rate of change here with the GAN grid. Somebody asked about the colors in Windows. It's pretty complicated. I just discovered another thing you can do in Windows. I can invert all these colors. I can turn a grayscale. I can invert grayscale. I can set it up for colorblind people. But that's not under colors. That's under color filters, which isn't under colors. It's under something called text. So Windows is like a big fucking torture. I think Windows was designed to torture people. I hope I don't get flagged for this video, but honestly, let's face it, Windows is designed to make you want to blow your own brains out. So the colors are all wacky in here. And you just can't have everything. But you can invert it, which is pretty cool. So I discovered the inversion today. Because I was trying to learn some MQL for a code, and I was almost there. Except for the fact that I was unable to get past. This guy had posted a example and everything. And it was like, hey, that looks really good. I'm going to do that. And then he had completely different code when I went to his page after I turned off my ad blocker. Don't tell anybody he has an ad blocker. And so I'm like, I gotta do that. Oh, what? So this is the GAN grid. And it's just trend lines. If you're into channels, if you're into pitchforks, if you're into all this stuff, the reason why people do pitchforks and all this stuff, they want to plan the future out, and I got that. But I just did some auction trading here before I started the video. And this is somewhere in time on the 1 hour chart. And these are just kind of the classic setups you could do all day long on the 1 hour time frames, you know. You know, the amount of money you place to buy this hole here, you know. But this is just the rate of change. So I got a 20 pip grid, and I just took my GAN grid and I hung it. So when you here, I'll start over from scratch here. So when you do the GAN grid, it's going to be like this. Pick how many pips you're trying to make per day, so to speak. If your rate of change is going to I'm trying to make 20 pips a day, then it's going to look like this. This 20 pip grid, and that's 1 day. So rate of change of 20 pips a day. Can the market move at 20 pips a day? That's not asking too much to make 20 pips a day. So making 20 pips in 12 hours kind of looks like this, right? Now the market's capable of moving at 20 pips in 12 hours. We've seen it do it a bunch of times here, and the proof is in the this tool, which is a rate of change tool in a sense. I just turn it into the future rate of change. So the market's capable, and of course I drag that down so that I do a half. Here, let me scrunch it down so that's a 12-hour day. But if I make it 40 pips, we'll give ourselves a fighting chance. 40 pips and 40 pips in 12 hours. Looks like about this, all right? So you want to intersect. So this is a 20 pip grid. So you're picking how many pips, rate of change. So that means that the market could drop 40 pips in 12 hours. Can it do it? It goes faster than that, actually. So if you said by the beginning of the day to the end of the day, I guess now that you've got this established, you can drag it anywhere you want, right? So here you put it right on that crossroads. I'm looking at this point here. Is this thing dropping down at just about that rate of change, right? Just about. But doesn't mean it's going to keep going down, right? So where the buyers come in? And just watched Hannah Forex do her ICT thing. Hannah, come here. Babe, come here. How many pips are you trying to make? 20 pips. How many pips you want to risk to make 20 pips? 10? Okay. So Hannah could have bought right here because she could have said, well, here's a double bottom. Look at bottom tick Betty right there. She could have put her orders at the last known swing low. How do you define a swing low? The market just swung. It's like it's swinging up right now. I'm playing this back in creeper gear speed. So what's going on here? You know, this is playback somewhere in time. Doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, you know. And the rate of change here is like actually faster than 40 pips per 12 hours. Whatever that number you pick, however steep you want to run it. Look at this. This is screaming. Or you could find out what is the rate of change per hour. But let's just look at this opportunity. You tell Hannah, you know, live on the edge. Put a 10K in a 20 pip window. Just see what happens. Put a 10K in a 20 pip window. Huh, it's a great place to buy, isn't it? Right to the floor. How about this? Buy down here. Just nick the wick of the previous day. Gee, it's like an ICT trade. I was like, well, babe, just buy here. Buy. Does it always work? No. Here, if you buy, and you don't get out of something, and you put a stop in here, and you buy, they stopped you out, but then it goes up. But the guy that sold here, if he didn't get out here, he's down on that trade. If the guy that sold Top Tick Tommy here did not get out, he's down on that trade because how long did it take to get to here maybe, right? So he locked up margin here. If he sold that, he probably got out here. The guy that's trying to do the bottom becomes the top, he's a winner. You know, I can see all the winning trades, can't you? I don't know. Like, you can see when it works and when it doesn't, I hope. Okay, if you don't, just turn off the video right now. And please do not comment. So, if you can't see that, also, this closes beneath the double bottom, so it's a big trap there. But you could have just as well bought here and dumped it. There's no fill here if you sold. If you bought this, you had to get out. If you bought this, you had to get out on something. If you sold here, okay, eventually it's a winner. You can claim, oh, you know what? I sold in here, dude, and like I never got stopped out, and I waited and waited and waited, and then I cashed out. Okay. Then you bought the ICT. You know, you buy the liquidity. What's so funny is that when Hannah Forex said, well, you're waiting for this value order gap. After all said and done, you're waiting for that value order gap, and that's the place to get in. There's not one place to get in this market. There's just not one place. And here you can say, I just made fucking 30 pips in, 2 hours. That's 4 hours, 40 pips. That's good, right? Like screaming moves. But this is just a tool to, like, what's the rate of change here? This is 2 hours slamming. Why is that such a significant slam? What makes this slams different than any other slam? This is the Passover question, I think. So, why is this trade different than all other trades? Because this one's a full tilt auction. Zoom out a little bit and get a load of this one here. 20 pip grid. 20 pip grid. Trying to make 20 pips. How many pips are you trying to make? Right. How tight's your stop? You could buy in this 20 pip window and it's stem to stern. Right. Top tick Tommy to. This is when it's a problem. You buy here thinking, oh, I'll just get in here. No. I'm sure if you look left here, there's a giant hole. Just like this giant hole. If you started buying here, right here, you got to have some money. You know, and you're going to have to scalp out of, like, your bad entry here has to be the one that you're planning on. The swing trade. So one of these has to be a swing. If you buy here, everything on the way down to here and maybe that one's got to stop like this. I'm sure that you're thinking, well, sure, they might break this trend line and all that, but, in the long run, we're going to end up auctioning out the high of the day or retesting. What do you want to call this? I mean, certainly this is the void, the liquidity pool, the thing it's attracted to. Right, it's attracted to these areas, but what rate of change? At what rate of change, for God's sakes, right? So if you bought everything below here, yes, cash out, bing, bang, bong, bing, bing. There's a lot of range trading going on. Then we fall through the floor, so to speak, into this void, and you gobble that up and you dump and it's over. Or you sell here and you're riding it back to maybe this fair value target, or you're holding on till the bottom tick Betty at the 20-yard line. So the market whipping through these 20 handles, and you can kind of get your brain around how much money that would be, right? This is $2, this is $4, this is $6 per K. How hard is it to stack up tickets here now? As you look back, of course, in hindsight, as we're playing back the market, you're going to say, well, yeah, it looks easy now as you play it back. Well, it does look easy. Like, why are people waiting? Well, they're waiting for a fucking moving average. They're waiting for a setup. No, the setup's already here. Here's the setup. It's already happened. So this is like this pivot's already in existence. So is this. And if you stood in front of this thing, now this would be dangerous. If you started putting sell limits in here, well, they're new highs. What's the problem? No, because you're coming back structurally back into this floor, like it does matter. You could say, well, it worked here, right? I put sell limits in. Yes, but you're pretty close. Your expirations would ideally be under 4 hours. Here, if you start selling new highs here, are you fucking nuts? This thing just dropped. In one day, you just dropped 40, 60, 80, 100 pips. Boom, hard down. Now, buying into that, and look at this, almost a bottom tick, one last tick. Momentum is a real thing. See, this is why I had to... the guy that thinks momentum isn't real is just... He's retarded. Okay, you should out of your fucking mind. Now, you could say, I'm buying below this low. Yes, that would be where I would get in on the limits, because... once we're here, I'm like, okay, I want to buy here again. I think we're going to do this, but we don't. We don't go Hana Forex. We go down, 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 and then we come back up. But even at that, we come back and re-tag the 20-yard line before we rip. So you might think, oh, I'm going to buy here, buy here, buy here, and then London opens, and then the rip back, and then we rip up, right? So what's the next trade? Let's sell above here. Let's sell a lot up here, and let's try to make 20 pips coming off the top with break evens. 20 pip grid, 1 hour chart. Pick your time frame. Pick your target. Pick the rate of change. So let's fast forward this a little bit. Let's pick up the pace here, people. I'm getting bored with this nonsense. Okay, we're going to take it up to a decent speed here because, life's short and this playback machine is just amazing. So that's 20 pips in an hour, too. You can look at this 20 pip grid is like, if Hana Forex was focused on how many pips she's trying to make and not on all this theoretical bullshit. So how much are you going to make? $2 or $20 or $200 here? 10K, you're making $20. You're in a... So if you're in a hard 10K, but why do that to yourself? Why not just buy like this? You got all day, you got a order bank in here, 20 pip grid on the euro dollar. Now, it's true the euro dollar can take off and rip your face off. Yes, that's true. Right now we're selling into this. We have to be very mindful of the gap. This actually up here, we could go rocketing up here. Now FOMC comes out. We're going here today. How far can we go? And how long is it going to take? What's the expiration time? So the key is expiration time. Really does matter. Seriously. Because if these tickets last just... we have to make the expiration look like this. So here's since it's a 1 hour chart, this is about a 6-hour expiration on this rack. We stick it right up above this. So that's our reference point. It's going to be why is it there, you know? How does this setup even, how do you do a setup like this? You pick the level and then you pick the time expiration. So the rest of the day, this is going to last. These tickets, and FOMC comes out maybe here. Not sure what day this is. Is this a Wednesday? Is it typically a Wednesday? So this would be, could be Thursday. Could be jobs report. It's some kind of, then non-firm payroll could be on Friday here. It could blow the whole thing out. But we never know what's going to happen, really. So this is the fun of it. We're committed to sell here, and then the next big insane price is going to be right up in that. So let's just commit to selling up here like this for the next day. You know, put an expiration on one day, which looks like, well, if you dropped it right now, it would last 24 hours, so it's approximately like this much. Let's take it up to max speed here. Let's see how this plays out. Getting our first fill. I'm on Pike's broker. There's more data on Trader's Way for testing than there is on any other broker, I think. Smoothest data. I was able to get my robot to run on here. There's enough ticks in there. So we're short on that little top tick Tommy, but the scalpers are coming in now. Here comes the buyer. Supposedly are going to buy this. No, looks like the sellers won that one. So how many tickets did you sell up there again? This is why you have to, in some regard, get aggressive and sell into this void here, right? This whole pocket. And then you top tick Tommy that. Look how much that you just made 40 pips here. Now you're up 40 pips from you're up 20 pips from your worst entry. Now you're up 40 pips from your worst entry. Now you're buying into this again. I'd be buying into this. If I wasn't in that long trade, I'd be buying this plunge. So this is another bad situation where, man, I wish it would have sold more up there. Now buy, and the next abyss is the super big buy zone down here. Right? Here's the next buy. We're committed to buy down here now. So the party just moved to the other side of town. And now we're making money from this. So if you missed that entry, you could jump on this buy ship and you're waiting for it to come flying back. It looks like it's not going to do it. Maybe in Asia we drift back into here and you can cash out. Right? All right, about to cash out of that. Nope. Looks like you might plunge some more. Now this is getting kind of spooky down here. That's a big hole. We don't know how far back this hole goes. I really don't know. And if we're cutting new lows, like, or in a downtrend, don't you know? Don't you have a bias? No, I don't have a bias. I don't have a bias. I just can't. I'm sorry. I'm going to go tranny on this one. I'm going to go actually open source gender. Infinite gender. I'm slightly long, a little short. Looks like it's going to drop in this hole. So I wouldn't count anything, but let them stop you out. We really don't know. They just took out the low Asia there, so just you see they just nicked this wick. A lot of people are going to buy that. A lot of the people that want to trade that plan of getting this, it didn't quite hit it, so we're still long from the previous day here. About to cash out, boom. So we could cash out and go flat there. I guess it's like a safety. We've ever played pool. It's like a safety. But so we're out. Maybe we're short. Maybe we're short there. You know. But I'm looking to buy here now, and aggressively speaking, I'm gonna just So getting long there, and now maybe put some more limits in. So have to be careful because of this. This could be a 30-year low here or some shit we're coming up on. Who knows? That's max playback speed. Every tick. Looks pretty smooth data. All right, we're long again. We just got filled on this, taking out the low of the previous day just by a little bit and cashing out on something there. Then I come back here with limits again, reload the wagon here. Another refresh. It could still tank though. This is where it's kind of unbelievable, but you know, you can't really believe any of the moves you see, to be honest with you. If you're running some moving averages at this point, you're probably thinking, well, I don't have a signal yet, so why you bother trading this shit? I don't know. It looks tradable to me. You know, maybe it's not enough pips. It's only 20 pip volley here. But if you're in and out of this thing, you know, I don't think I'd be a seller, but I'm certainly going to be buying on dips here. So this is my third fill at the closing line. At the 20 yard, we close right at 20, just below the 20. Coming back for 20 pips again. Struggling to get back to that inflection point, and you know, this people has a whole other day. It's a whole day of this is a doji small body day. Something's got to give here. So we're either going to rip back up. We're going back to this is accumulation going on here for days and days underneath this floor from the weeklies. Now we're screaming, crawling back out. People are cashing out now. New sellers coming in. The sell window, back into the buy window. Here we go on and on with this constant. Okay, buyers, we're still long on our swing. We're looking to take out this high. Okay, sellers just came in because they sold this lonely wick. Buyers just came in. So there's kind of like a real quick auction here, so to speak. Price action, or more price action than less price action. People say price action trading. I'm like you mean like big moves, small moves? Big action, small action. Yes, it matters that like how much momentum is a real thing. Like volatility is a real thing. It's not just you know, this market identifies as dynamic, though. Volatile, not volatile. Volatile, not volatile. Screaming, then complacent. Great sell. A retest of that wick here. So you could have made money there, and you could have made money again. So it's like getting remarried again after you get divorced the first time. Right, you sold here, you bought back, you could have sold again, bought back, comes back to structure on close there. People are selling, sell. You've got sells all the way to Memphis on the north side, but if you're a swing trader, you don't, because you're holding on. You can see the big picture. Why is it going up now? Damn it, it just went down. What's going on? Why am my account blowing up? So the big picture is this picture, right? You're down here dicking around and ding, ding, ding. So if you sell into this abyss, you know, at some point, that's going to clobber you, just like this one would clobber anybody standing in front of it. If this is just took out a 40-year low, everything that's happening down here from that standpoint. So the day trader versus the big picture trader. And look at this nice scalp off of this box, right? Top becomes a bottom. Everybody went short. Now they're waiting to plunge here. I'll be a buyer here if it drops tonight. So this is one of those ones where I go to sleep and I'll just put in a bunch of tickets down here thinking, you know what? We've been up, we've been down, we're dicking around. So it's a range trader's dream to just buy a plunge into this stuff and then have big tickets down here. It's a nice lazy trade. Here they come. And if you're short from here, you're just loving that you're cashing out, you know. All right, so that's that. That's the 1 hour chart with a 20 pip grid. Getting filled here while I'm sleeping, I'm getting filled here. Big tickets come in there. Really big tickets come in here. Big. Scalp to this on something. We could dump everything here. Buy. Super buys. Really big buys down here. Dump the whole thing here. So the bigger we get in, something just cashed out of your If you gotta have some 8-pip winners woven in there. Okay, so you're cashing out in your 10-pip winners, and you may not make your targets, so that's why you got to be scaling out. Now you're coming into target. That's the floor. If you're looking for that to blow out, right? So the big boys are the guys that are still holding on. They go, you know what? I don't care. We'll sell above here now. If we didn't stand in front of that train, and this is the key liquidity area. So here's your order blocks, value gap bullshit. I'm sure on the 5-second chart there was a value gap to get in here. But the value gap thing is kind of stupid because that's really a confirmation entry. It's kind of like too late, you know. You missed the auction. Here's the big sell. You could have taken that for 20 pips. You could have made 40 pips here, 20 pips there, 40 pips. So back and forth, back and forth. If you believe in structure, it's the easy way to trade. That's all there is to it.